Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK Summer 2020. I'm Atlas, once again joined by the Valdanalist here for the big one. DRX versus Gen.G. This could change everything. If Gen.G are able to pick up a win here, they could be once again back on top for the regular season. But we will have to see, because DRX have not lost to them so far this season, and we'll see whether it's going to continue here today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that round one was round one, and slowly the changes are coming in. I do feel like Gen.G is slowly powering up more and more. We've kind of passed that that time period of where we were like, yeah, Gen.G's good, but nobody talks about them. You know, BDD's great, one of the best mid laners, but what about Chovy and Showmaker? They're the best. Actually, I think a lot of people now are looking at Gen.G and saying, wow, this team is really on a roll. We can't ignore them anymore, and I think they're favored, actually, to win this one, which can be a bit surprising for people who, you know, have been following the DRX story, how they are on top right now with only one loss. And it's really going to be interesting because while I do favor Gen.G, it really does feel like DRX are in a strong place as well.
Yeah, exactly. Chovy versus BDD is going to definitely be the focal point of this one, in my opinion. Chovy certainly did put on a show in their first matchup, but that was way back, very early in this season. And that was after, you know, Gen.G had some unfortunate times, falling 0-3 at MSC in the semifinals, also getting decimated by T1 in the spring final. I think that hangover was still there for Gen.G, and I think the reason why a lot of people are apprehensive about this team is because that final is still in the back of their mind, and can Gen.G actually show us some of that tenacity when it comes to best of fives? But that is still a long time coming, and this team is very good at regular season play, and we'll see whether they're going to be able to do it here today. 6-0 on the Azir for Chovy, and both of these players pretty damn good at Azir play. I think that one is certainly going to be targeted in the drafts. Is having a look at some of these stats here. DRX, not the greatest statistically, to be perfectly honest, but still just shy of Damwon when it comes to goal difference at 10 minutes. Just shows that they do play fast and loose in the early game, even if they're not necessarily getting a lot of early objectives. They're just doing a lot of better farming and random killing here and there to try and get themselves leads.
Yeah, and you can see up at the top, even though you know, Gen.G has one less loss, two less wins, still very going to be close to DRX when it does come to that. Obviously, both of these teams are up towards the top, so they're going to have good stats on that piece of paper that we were just looking at. Same lineup for DRX. Squad's not coming in, to the surprise of absolutely 0 people in the world right now.
Exactly. Doran back there towards the top side. I think that's going to be a very interesting matchup here this game. I think it's probably one of the mismatches here between Gen.G and DRX. Doran has been feeling real hit or miss, and we'll have to see whether Rascal can put him in his place or whether he's going to be able to weather the storm. Clid's also been upgrading his play a lot since the beginning of the season, so Pioshik, he has been outspoken saying that he thinks of nothing else other than League of Legends and jungle pathing, and his pathing has improved over the summer split. However, it is still not the best, and Clid definitely is a man with a lot more experience. But as you can see, Chovy versus BDD has been very Chovy favored over the years, ever since Chovy made his debut in 2018. They were able to take down DragonX every single time, KT every time, and now Gen.G every time. Of course, BDD's time on KT was a sad one, honestly. Like, BDD really felt like a shadow of his former self. So finding himself here on Gen.G is certainly very good for him.
Yeah. Take a look at his Taliyah win rate. That's something we don't see all too often. I think he's played one game, maybe two?
So one game this season so far, yeah.
And just really insane stats there. But he has not won a regular season of the LCK against Chovy just yet, regardless of what team he is on. So he's looking to try to tie it up here, essentially, as he did go down in the beginning of summer. As we're taking a look here at some of the stats, obviously Chovy is a god in the lane when it does come to that, whereas BDD a little bit more solid, I suppose, all around.
Yep, I believe it is Showmaker in between the two of them when it comes to CS numbers. As Deft versus Ruler is another one. I was actually having a chat to Ruler backstage, wished him luck, and he was like, thank you. And then I said, easy match. He's like, no, Very hard match. And so, yes, definitely respecting the matchup that he's up against, especially considering the nameplate of Deft and the up-and-coming rookie and your personal favorite in Carrier. This is going to be a real rough one. However, the stats, very good for Ruler. This guy's CS difference at 15 is nutty. But Deft also averages 10 ahead, so only one of the players can be ahead at 15 minutes. So
yeah.
We'll see who's going to be actually buffing up those stats, as Deft is going to get himself situated with a little alpaca ready to come out and take some names.
Yeah, and Ruler had, he was only 4th when it did come to damage per gold, but he has so many games of Ashe, which is not necessarily this champion that's going to be putting up gigantic damage numbers, more so of a safe engager, someone who can win the lane very well. And he is 7-0, by the way, on the Ashe. Yeah, I think we'll definitely be seeing the Ashe at least one of these games. Would expect it to go 3. I find it hard to believe that, one of these teams is just going to come over the top and 2-0 the other one, as they're both just so good and so evenly matched at this point in time, which makes this matchup just about as good as it can get, Atlas.
Yeah, exactly right. Very excited, and let's get into it right now. Draft is upon us, as DRX will be on the blue side, their most winningest side. That is another reason why it's actually crazy that DRX were able to win first up, because at the beginning of the season, it was even more lopsided in favor of blue side. Maybe to do with our LCK teams not necessarily figuring out counterpick as well this year as they have in the past. But we'll see how things go. Kalista going to be the first ban, and Twisted Fate, of course, having to be removed on the red side.
Pantheon bans down in the bottom side. We've seen more and more Pantheon coming in, as Life has played 0 games of it so far, but still a pretty strong support champion in the meta right now, so they're going to take that off the board. What is going to be the final ban on blue, I'm very curious about.
Yeah, they could decide to get rid of more of a throwaway. I'd actually expect this to be something a bit off-kilter, and then Gen.G will ban. Well, I like the Azir ban, taking that one off the floor, and now it's the fight for who gets Zoe, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I think you ban Zoe here.
I think they'll ban Volibear or Set, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's more likely, but
guy.
At the same time, it's like, oh no. Do you really want to give Joey Zoe? Do you really want to give BDD Zoe if DRX is going to pick something else?
No. DRX will first pick Ezreal. So Set ban, first pick Ezreal, and then Gen.G
pick Zoe.
The world's their oyster.
Yeah, there has to be so much priority on that champion. I mean, the 2 mid laners are probably the best right now. Volibear.
Ooh, Volibear's interesting. And so Zoe, obviously, going to be a choice here.
Insta-locked. Like, Rascal was already hovering on the champion, so.
And Zoe Ezreal would be just so good. For Gen.G.
BDD, I think, is the best Zoe out of all of them, actually. I think he's the one player
Zoe is outstanding.
You really can't give him Zoe. I think that's a little bit of a blunder already. But let's see. Maybe they know. I mean, they could have done pretend drafts, and maybe it turns out this way a lot of the time. And so maybe they have an answer into the Zoe here. It is Chovy after all.
Whoa, they actually prioritize Ashe over Ezreal as well.
Well, 7-0 will do that, I suppose. But Deft on the other side is 8-1 on Ezreal, so
yeah,
it's rough, I think it's a very obvious choice for DRX.
Ezreal Bard is like just so easy right here. Yeah,
easy. I love that Bard. Is so mainstream now.
I know, and watching Carrier play it is also just super good. Lehens was a joy to watch on it in the game that he managed to win, and in the game that they lost, actually. But this is Carrier, Young Mechanics crew, giving us some of that Bard action, as we got CC coming in on the bottom side of the map, but not necessarily a lot of lane presence here, especially in the early stages. We'll see how aggressive Gen.G are going to play this one. Volley certainly does help you take some control, but having double ranged will be able to abuse the Leona to a certain extent.
Life is 4-0 on the Leona. When I think of Leona for support players in the LCK, I immediately think of effort. Generally, Life isn't in that top 3. I mean, we consider Carrier, Effort, and Beryl, I think, at this point for the top 3, but Life, he's getting up there. He's being more consistent nowadays, and I'm excited to see what he can do on this Leona that he has had a lot of success on in recent times.
Well, I'm feeling Another mid lane ban, might be something like a Syndra, we'll see. No, Orianna going to be the choice there, but then Lee Sin going to be banned by DRX, and we'll see where Clint is going to go.
Yeah.
Unless DRX throw the gauntlet, they could theoretically leave Lee Sin open so they can try and get it. I'm only saying this because both Pyosik and Clint have been prioritizing
Maybe they
Lee
can
Sin
ban
a
Camille
lot.
or something.
Oh no, of course the Volley Bear is already picked, most likely for Chovy, for Pyosik, so they don't need to worry about it.
Mordekaiser!
Why?
They banned Olaf and Mordekaiser together! They weren't watching the last series and any of the LCK.
Yeah.
That's clear. I don't know why you would leave Camille available, first of all. Second of all, the Lee Sin does seem a little bit obvious for Clid. Let's see, though. Are they just going to go Renekton? That would be a little bit sad.
Bears versus Crocs. No, it's going to be the Lee Sin, obviously.
Yeah. This makes a lot more sense.
They are going to wait for the counter pick for Rascal.
DRX could just...
Camille.
Yeah, they could just blind Camille. Which I feel like Camille is slowly rising in priority, and it's so good right now. It has like a 75% win rate on top of it.
It's also Doran's most played by like 1,000,000%.
Yeah, it has the results to
Oh,
back it
God.
up. Not blind pick Renekton.
Please, God. Thank you. Oh, my goodness, I was so frightened. Because, of course, that had to be the Camille. They were trolling us there for a moment. I hope that was CP Max trying to get into our heads, as Ornn would be self-counterpick into Camille's true damage with the second part of her E.
This is kind of curious. I mean, it is the most played for Rascal, but Ornn really has fallen off a cliff in terms of priority here in the LCK. But he's still going to pick it up, and so he's going to go with what has worked for him, and Rascal is... You talked about rocks. Not the team, but like top lane players that are like a rock that you can, lean on. Rascal has become that. He is so consistent, unbelievably consistent, this player that rarely gets talked about. And if there's anybody that I trust to take the Ornn and try to prove to us once again that he still is decent in the top lane, it would be Rascal. So I like that he's going to pick it up here into the Camille. I think it's going to teach us a lot more about Ornn's power level and just how strong is Camille for Doran, who, as you mentioned, it's his most played. He's very comfortable on that champion.
Yeah, he's played 8 games of Camille, and his second most played is the Aatrox at 4. So, certainly, the most comfort that you can get. But this is also just a really good comp, right? Like, the amount of dive potential with Hextech Ultimatum into the heroic entrance and a bear on top of it.
Big bear.
And then Tempered Fate to control the battlefield and Deft being self-sufficient on the Ezreal. This is exactly what you want to see. And Chovy, fantastic at playing tanky champions, has always been. Played mid-on all the time. Plays the Galio to great effect also, but also is the one to play the set. I believe was second after Showmaker. No, actually, no, he was first. Chovy was the one that debuted the mid-set, I believe. Whereas here, we've just got win rate champions, right? This is all comfort for Gen.G, majoritively, right? You've got Ruler's Ashe that he's just been winning games on, BDD on his world-famous Zoe, Clid on his very famous Lee Sin. We always called him the cleanest Lee Sin in the LCK. And this is Rascal's most played by a country mile. I believe lifetime. I actually have a...
Take a look.
I need to have a look at Rascal's statistics.
It's his
Ornn most played.
It's his most played in Summer, which is really... It's surprising for me because after... like the halfway through round 1, it's like he just disappeared. I mean, we rarely see Ornn anymore.
Well, it's his most played by 9 games. Second most played is Camille at 21, and he's played Ornn 30 times. He has a 70% win rate, though, so you can see why.
Casual 19 games of Akali we never see.
Well, I mean, when he was on Kingzone, his Akali was certainly to be feared. It was actually very impressive.
There are so many matchups to talk about in this game. Obviously, bottom lane, Deft versus Ruler. Life, I feel like he's the guy that's kind of the underdog of the 4. He has to prove to everybody else that he deserves to be on the same level as Keria, as Deft and Ruler.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ruler did a lot of carrying in that lane, I believe, early on, but Life has been getting better, as I mentioned earlier.
He got back-to-back POGs in their last match, so Life certainly coming out swinging in recent times.
He is absolutely getting better by the day.
Oh, Hot Cocoa on the bottom side. And skin synergy between Deft and Keria. Frosted Ezreal definitely always reminds me of Double Edge, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe because I've been watching League of Legends for way too long. But this is an old school skin. Deft used to be a Pulsefire guy. Used to play Pulsefire every single time. Even when it had the wonky animations, which meant a lot of people didn't want to play it. The Deft was still there because it looked cool.
Yeah. You got to go with the best skin. You look good, you play good. I mean, that's...
Oh, damn right.
That's just basic math, okay?
Yeah. I'm not good at basic math, but I understood that.
None of us are. It's okay. We see the stats here. This is kind of what you were talking about. Objectives early on in the game. DRX, they don't go for objectives. They win lane.
Yeah.
and then win the game through that.
Well, their CS difference at 15 minutes is ludicrous.
Yeah.
Which certainly shows that. Colossal smash there as, oh, see? He's the best Zoe in the LCK. Level 3 redemption. We say level 4 is the benchmark. Just insane. Well,
And,
LCK total, he's 6-2, pretty good on the Galio.
Who was that mid laner that BDD was playing against that just made Galio into Zoe just look horrendous? I forget who that was, and I don't necessarily want to call them out because it was...
It might have been Kuro.
Pretty horrendous. Might have been Kuro.
Yeah.
But you can see that Chovy has a much better understanding of how to play the matchup. Gets the taunt off before the Justice Punch. Obviously, we're not at level 6 yet, but you can already see that good stuff is starting there in the mid lane.
Good knock up there from Rascal, as he's already built himself Ruby Crystal. Not getting as much value out of that as he would have used to, but he will when he goes back. That's a great little stun onto Life, but as you can see, no issues here. 29-14. Khalid's played a lot of Lee Sin, guys. We knew that. We'll see whether he's going to have a good time this time around as the Volley Bear, what's picked into him, 3-0 here for Pioshik. DRX haven't lost a lot of games, to be perfectly honest. As BDD going to have his back stopped, I believe. Some Winds of War.
Is he not on Vision there? I thought he must have been, but
Yeah,
maybe BDD just doesn't care and he wants to clean the wave instead.
BDD opting in for the Unsealed Spellbook this time, not actually going for the super abusive Zoe. We've seen a lot of Zoes pick up a lot more aggressive rune choices, like Airy and Electrocute, things like that, to just try and smash lane, but BDD just wants to have that extra flexibility as we're going to have a 2v2 here towards the top side. And Rascal, oh, the mind game.
Oh, Doran.
Just beautiful, but that's a great ward as Pioshik, the police are here, please. Go back to your turret. Nothing to see here.
Yeah.
Right, there we go. And now he's going to move back again.
Yeah, it's really cool to see kind of the next leveling that comes out because Doran, it's like he almost sniffed it out. He's like, oh, I think someone might be here. I got to be careful as they're thinking about a dive now.
Yep, the turret getting a little bit confused as Chovy's going to make his way in as well. This big old taunt. It's going to make things rough. That's a great knock-up, though, as Chovy's holding on to the aggro. Gets the flash and gets out. Really nice first blood is here on the bottom side of the map. Zenith Blade gets Life in there. Aftershock going to work out, but Ruler took a lot of damage there. As Eclipse will eventually proc. And Life does tank up a lot, but it's a pretty even trade after all is said and done.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the the macro rotations that were coming in and how Chovy was able to get such a good push off and then get up to the top lane on time. But it's kind of just Chovy things, right? He is able to make it happen. And when we talk about Chovy, we talk about his lane dominance, but he is going to fall behind after that play in favor of helping out his team, which is kind of interesting. But I suppose you got to do that kind of thing when you are playing on the Galio and you have such a fantastic dive ability.
This is also, one of the things that Chovy does, right? Like, he plays set in Sax lane. It's all about, like, getting around and stopping shows elsewhere. He has a few different modes. Like, if Chovy wants to win mid lane, he tries really hard to win mid lane, right? And a lot of his Azir games are about that. But when he is on these more tanky champions, it's certainly a different play style for Chovy. Certainly one of the reasons why he's so good, his flexibility. But Gen.G, they're going to run towards the top side. They're looking for Doran. He's going to... Oh, no, he's not. Heroic Entrance is going to come in. And Doran's not dead just yet, but will eventually fall down. A 1-for-1, though, as BDD's down extraordinarily low. And Chovy will grab all of this farm. Well, as much of the farm as he can find. And 1-for-1 is pretty even. by my math. Like I said, arithmetically challenged. However, I can do that one.
Yeah, the dive here not nearly as clean for Gen.G, that's for sure. And it's because Chovy, once again, ahead of the play, is able to be there on time. And Lee Sin got the aggro for the turret, so that's a big reason why there was so much damage going on to Clid at the same time. And how he did get punished there. And so, a lot of plays around the top side of the map. We were talking a lot about this Camille. It's so important to get her ahead in this game so she can begin to really punish the Ornn. Great knock up here from Rascal, trying to do his best, but there's just too much damage. Even the Winds of War come in, and it's just a little bit too much for that early game Ornn to handle.
Yeah, pretty comfortably just jumps his way forward, and Clid wasn't even taking the turret.
He said, He's just like, yeah.
All right.
In green, it's just like, yeah, okay. Yeah, whatever, big deal.
All right, Justice punches himself back, and Rascal is smashing farm, by the way, in this lane.
He is.
Certainly having a good time on the Ornn, outside of that one death. So the answer back was good news, and it was because there was
a big wave too.
Yeah, the huge minion wave that Doran lost underneath the turret that was actually eaten by Chovy is why Chovy's actually even with BDD despite taking a couple of excursions out. This Chovy, Justice Punch timing was pretty good. Carrier going to show up with the little Pengus following him around. This is like, I know like Astronaut Bard is really cool and stuff, but Snow Day Bard is just the best. And always has been.
It's hard to disagree. You know, I do like the little aliens. I think it might be tied for first with the Pengus. I know we have a lot of Pengu fans here.
No, but it's the hot cocoa as well.
That's why.
Justice Punch going to be avoided there as Life going to slow Chovy down. He's been ignited. The carrier's coming in. He's got the meep slaps on. He's got his mittens out, and he should be able to keep his gargoyle alive. Pioshik coming down. They called the cops, but they're a little bit too late. Yeah, as Pioshik is looking to try and punish some scuttlers instead, ults his way out. And looks like Gen.G have some heralds in mind.
Ruler pushing the bottom lane. Going to use that time to come up here just in case a fight breaks out. But I think the second he realizes that they've won the fight, I think he should just go bot again. Yeah, but he might just push mid and then go bot. Let's see exactly where he does go.
He took one creep from mid.
This is how you do it. Okay, we saw before in the last series that I think it was Teddy that stood mid for a long time, taking farm from Faker and let the Ezreal get plates and extra XP down the bottom lane. Ruler, he identifies that they got the objective. He immediately goes back bot. Doesn't really lose anything because he had just pushed in. And he's not going to fall behind at all. He's going to keep that pressure on down in the bottom side. See, he's ahead 55 gold.
Amazing. Wow. Absolutely amazing. How does he do it? Well, you could just clip what Valdez just said, and that may help you realize just how he does it. Tactical sweep, and Doran gets out of that with the hook shot. So nicely done. Carrier back towards the bottom side, and look, the Ezreal's behind by a little bit of farm. How did he get that? That's just, he's BDD. That's how.
It actually looked like it went through the minion.
He has a console command. As all right, there's a bit of a taunt onto Life to try and avoid a bit of CC. And Chovy, he's getting so much attention.
Yeah.
And he's down an entire 3 CS.
This is the Chovy effect. I mean, he doesn't even have to flash. He makes Galio look so much stronger than so many other people have in this matchup. He avoids ganks without flashes, gets away at perfect timings.
Oh, Carrier is going to get ulted here by Life as the kickback onto the Bard. He's going to take a magical journey into the Death Chamber as Deft is trying to face up Leone here. Oh my god. He's taking a lot of damage. There's a Justice Punch, and no taunt to be had is now Pioshik. Yeah, here we go. This is what happens when you kill his friends. Pioshik's going to come in. Sirens are blaring. Now Clid not going to go aggressive onto the bear, I don't think.
Nope, just going to let him go. And that Volibear is kind of getting out of control here. I think you obviously would have wanted those kills onto the Camille and maybe the Ezreal in that case, but he's going to be really tanky and rough to deal with for the side of Gen.G, who do have a lot of great engage, but I think they're lacking a bit on disengage.
Whoa. point, but Fate comes in. Oh, not going to quite find a Cosmic Binding there is Carrier. Throws one out, but it's a bit optimistic.
The power of Bard.
Yep.
Getting flashes out of all of your teammates. Feels good, man.
Well, Deft and Ruler having a bit of a conversation down here. Both of them have been oppositions for a very long time. Going back to, you know, KT versus Gen.G days. Even potentially, you know, EDG versus Samsung days. Not sure exactly whether they played against one another during those moments. While Deft was over in China, but certainly been playing against each other here in the LCK for a very long time.
Temper Fate is down. This is going to give a lot of free gold over the side of BDD and Clid. Look at that, 240 apiece.
Big monies. As you've got Gen.G also starting off this Mountain Drake, taking absolutely every objective here on this map.
Yeah, Gen.G doing well with some of their objective play, whereas DRX, as we mentioned before, not so great with it. Giving a lot for free over here to the side of Gen.G. And kind of comes down to some of the timings. I mean, TP was available here for Chovy, but they didn't exactly want to focus on taking down the mountain. As here's Carrier. I mean, he's clearing a ward in the bush alone. No vision in the enemy jungle. And it was just a really easy setup. I think you have to play it a little bit safer. Obviously, Pyoshik is able to spare the blushes of his teammate and catch up with a kill in the extended trade. But I don't think Carrier should have been there in the first place.
Yep, Bubble going to connect here with the Volley Bear, who's going to get chunked out. That just turns on the sirens to run away. It's all going to be fine. You bear lovers out there. Deft wandering back to lane, does have his Manamune completed, as well as the Sheen. 2 items going to be online pretty soon here for the Ezreal, who's enjoyed a very slow early game for himself. His support's been running all over the place with his Forbidden Idol that he's put together with his Lucidity boots. As Rascal has a slight level advantage and also way more health than the Camille. Chovy shoves in another wave. Let's see where the next point of aggression is for DRX, because at the moment it looks like they are, well, it's here in mid lane. As the bubble's going to go wide, but once again, it's, yeah, law enforcement just checking up what's going on in the area. And runs on out. I think I'm making too many references towards this bear being a police officer.
Yeah.
The skin's fun.
Yeah, I do like the sound effects. Makes it very interesting. And Chovy is beginning to show why this Galio gets picked into the Zoe all the time. He's just sitting there, it's like, oh, you want to Battle Star me just straight up? Okay, I'll just channel my taunt. You're going to do about 3 damage.
BDD looked so triggered while he was just doing a whole lot of stuff, like pressing all of these buttons. He's like, look, Galio, look at all my buttons. Yeah. As Chovy just walks away from him. Life, are you going to break the Coco? Don't break the Coco.
He would never dare.
He broke the Coco.
Maybe he drank it.
Oh, there we go. Don't worry. Carrier has a new one for him. What a gentleman.
He's just sharing with the enemy, saying, you know, we're enemies right now, but we're friends.
No, it's a okay. Parlay for another 2.5 minutes as this Cloud Drake is coming up. Earth, Wind, and Fire could be coming in order. Something I always enjoy. Doran not going to be getting any plates here on the Camille, unfortunately. So not going to have quite the carry potential in the earlier stages of this game than he would. Still going to scale extraordinarily well, especially after, you know, items 2 and 3 come in. Trinity Force is now done though, so it's going to get better and better. Chovy actually got the money there for Shirley, who was secured. And now DRX wanting to plant her on the top side, and Rascal, no idea why he's here. Hextech Ultimatum comes down, he tries to Bellows Breath. The knock-up, but I mean, who cares? That is just so easy. And Rascal, he heard Shirley yelling. He knew.
Yeah. He shouldn't have been pushing all the way up there. It is pretty difficult to get away from the composition that DRX have, especially when you use your Hextech Ultimatum. Look at Clid, he's going to try to...
Oh, he wants to assassinate Shirley, but Doran may just assassinate him. Hookshot comes forward, the kick denied, and Doran grabs the kill. Oh, man, that was beautiful.
Is Shelly going to even live up there? I don't think so. They're going to get a lot of value up in that top side. The luxury turret will be there for some extra gold for their team. So nicely done. A little bit of going too far for Clid. Generally, when a Camille is fed, you don't exactly want to just run into her to try to stop your tier 2 from taking a little bit of extra damage, which at the end won't matter too much.
And this now gets really scary for Gen.G because they picked for comfort in laning phases, you know, things like that. The composition, you know what it's trying to do, like early to mid game, and they do have Ornn for late game insurance. But this DRX comp does amazing things when it comes to just deciding to get picks like this right here, as well as team fighting, right? Because of the versatility that you get with the heroic entrances. That was not the kick that you wanted to employ there, Clid, but also a fantastic hook shot.
Yes, okay.
To make sure that the Lee Sin was going to die.
Yeah. Just easy take on the turret after all that. And they're kind of just feeding those kills over to the Camille too, who's 0, 1, and 2. Now he's 2, 1, and 2. And we all know what's going to happen when that Camille gets fed. And that's why we were kind of scratching our heads when the Camille was available and not banned. Why go for the Lee Sin? Instead, you could have had your own blind Camille and see what DRX wanted to throw into that. The Cleanse Respect coming out from Chovy from his Unsealed Spellbook. Doesn't want to get locked down by the Lee Sin pick potential.
You see DRX not even interested in starting up this dragon. They more want to go for some sort of fight. They don't have the Volley Bear ultimate as Winds of War not going to be stealing that one. Teleport in from the Ornn, but it's going to be behind Gen.G. Bubble connects. The Bear not able to make it into the brush, but he's otherwise going to be unscathed, as we'll see who gets the Drake. It is going to be taken by Clid, but we'll see whether they actually win the fight. Knock up only onto one there with the heroic entrance as Clid able to get himself out, but only the Camille to die just yet. Rascal also extraordinarily low. Chovy in amongst 4 members, keeping himself alive for so long, as finally the Ornn goes down. Then the Leona follows. A double kill for the Bear. BDD, as BDD trying to bounce around this team fight. Carrier has to flash the wall bubble. Too easy, gets the kill onto this one. This is why you banned this one.
Imagine giving Zoe to BDD.
I know, right? It's just not what you want to see as Ruler grabs the kill onto the Bard. Deft desperately trying to keep himself alive, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to. Kick connects. Oh, and they just try to make him work for it. Clid over the wall. That is going to be the ace, and Gen.G. I mean, it looked like the team fight that they were going to be able to win on the side of DRX, and then BDD was Zoe.
Yeah, I don't even know how he was able to get out of that fight alive. There was so much commotion in the backside of that one. What is this TP?
That's Chovy.
Chovy's like really angry. There's nothing on the map. There's nothing for him to get to. I don't know why he's TPing there. So take a look here. Good smite by Clid. He's just hanging around, you know, he's not engaging. Great ultimate. Deft immediately is going to cleanse that one. And in the beginning, it's looking pretty good. Even though the Camille goes down, you got so much damage in the front line for DRX. Chovy is zoning them all away, but Deft is not really able to do enough damage.
Oh, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, and BDD was just always in the back line, just waiting for Chovy to go down. He was very patient, and he just picks up all the flashes on the ground, too. And this is when BDD is not going to miss a single skill shot.
For that one.
You really should not be giving BDD Zoe, essentially. I think a lesser Zoe probably would have either died before this, not have hit his skill shots.
My favorite thing is that you say, this is when BDD doesn't miss a skill shot, and he literally didn't hit any skill shot from that point onwards.
No, he hit the bubble and the
bubble
star right there.
The bubble there, and immediately afterwards missed everything.
Yeah, well, you know. It's an Ezreal. You gotta,
it's
gotta give him that one.
He's slippery. Yeah.
The damages received will be in most favor of actually Lee Sin, who has been very active in this game, I suppose.
When it comes to receiving damages, anyway, as Gen.G do take down the outer turret in the mid lane, there has certainly been a swing here as far as how the temperament of this game has turned around. DRX still ahead in farm. And the Camille's still farming out very well. Does have Ravenous Hydra now completed, but ornaments are going to start flooding in. And Gen.G's scaling will get better. They do have Lee Sin Leona, who don't necessarily scale fantastically well, but Leona's very tanky, offers a bit of CC.
And now DRX just very aggressively going to be engaging here.
Oh, there's the on haunt. True Shot Barrage lands mainly onto Clid, as BDD's just running at him. Oh, what? Finds the bubble and almost kills him with a damn Ludens proc. What?
Yeah, you guys may have heard of BDD. He's pretty good at Zoe, and he's 4-0-1.
Take this, man. Skipping rope. Rascal trying to clear out a minion wave, not going to be able to. And Doran is manhandling the Ornn. Certainly a comp that can split push very well on the side of DRX, which might be a good thing because Gen.G is showing that team fights are something that they're well and truly capable of.
This game is getting really interesting. I feel like it still is quite even, especially because of the split push potential and pressure that Doran is putting on. You can see that he's just taking turrets in front of the Ornn already when he's on 2 items, and there's really not much that Rascal can do except clear the wave. And so I feel like the only way to really stop this is to maybe employ the Warmog strat, where you go out, accept the wave, you take a bunch of damage from Camille, and then you hide behind the turret and try to get a bunch of your health back and wait for the next wave. But the side lane is always going to be in favor of Doran, who does have the second most gold in the game, actually, behind BDD, which is quite interesting.
Yep, he's been certainly in these side lanes. My goodness, that took a long time.
Lane lands.
Lane. Yep, just probably should have done a few vocal warm-ups before this one, maybe more than I did already. Okay, Clid's going to find Chovy, but the bear is going to find him. True Shot Barrage somehow. Hitbox, by the way, is going to land onto Clid, who needs to get out of there. This might mean that the first Infernal Drake is going to be taken by DRX, and it looks like, yes, it's getting taken out extremely fast. Oh, that's a great Tempered Fate out of Carrier to hold down BDD, but they don't get him. With the Cosmic Radiance, in goes Rascal to try and find Chovy. Pyoshik down very, very low. Eventually is taken. And yeah, Doran not able to get into that backline effectively enough. Life also keeps himself alive for approximately forever. And once again, Carrier and Deft cannot do anything.
Yeah. Zone nearly the entire time, and Ruler, take a look at this replay when we do get to it. There's a reason he's got the fire around him. He was shelling out so much damage. There was so much focus onto getting BDD. We saw Tempered Fate, people trying to dive onto that Zoe, and they weren't even able to kill BDD on top of it. So Ruler, on top of all of that, was doing insane damage, protected the entire time. Now he's full health, and he's going to be able to chunk this Baron, and there's not much that DRX can do about it.
No, Pyoshik is alive, but he's in his own base, so not going to be able to do anything there. And yeah, Gen.G feels like if there isn't one amazing performance out of one player, it's going to be out of the other. So my focus may need to shift multiple times. When it comes to these team fights, this is what you requested. Let's have a look at Ruler this time.
Yeah, good play by Carrier. Starts it off. And watch this Graveborn ultimate at the same time. Notice he hits the front line instead of the back line. Leona hits both of them in the back line. So there's just unbelievable amounts of CC that are going down onto everybody of DRX because both Rascal and Life are having amazing games on top of it. You know, the damage is the most obvious thing, but really the reason why Ruler and BDD are given the rune to do this is because of Rascal and Life and their ability to lock down the opponents and allow their attack damagers to do a ton of damage. And
there's the flash.
Okay.
Now we're looking for a taunt onto Ruler. He does go golden with his stopwatch. Bit of a slow as Justice Punch comes in, and yes, they do manage to kill the Ashe. Revenge has been claimed. Is now Life going to suffer the same fate? That's a kill over to Deft as Chovy Justice punches his way out. Now the follow-up is there, but the bottom lane is missing. So Rascal not going to be getting in. BDD was spending some time top side of the map. So that's a couple of Barons removed. DRX just constantly aggressive. Doesn't matter how the game looks. They are always angry as Rascal gonna get ultimatum. There's the heroic entrance. And he's gonna be golden here underneath the turret. But the ulti from the volley bear is going to deny its damage. Now 3 versus 5. Gen.G is still taking the fight. These annoying minions getting in the way as BDD's at full health, by the way, guys. As Gen.G's going to jump back, BDD flashes forward. This mid-jungle
What is
synergy
going
is
on?
beautiful as the bubble is going to go wide. I actually expected that one to land as the Q does. And Clid, he's thinking about it. The arrow's going to pierce the heavens. And there goes the Galio and DRX. They have to run.
Zoe is just so broken. I don't know what else to say. BDD makes it look so unbelievably broken, it's not even funny. He's like attacking them from 5 miles down the lane. And they, you know, DRX, they're so aggressive, but they don't know when to take their foot off the gas pedal. They got so much. They killed Ruler and one other person, and they were going, and they took 2 turrets, but then you got it back. But instead, they stuck around for too long, and they waited to see what BDD could do. Did not respect what he was able to do. Really nice arrow as well from Ruler way down the lane, just sent it right down the middle. Was able to allow them to pick up the 1 kill, and in the end, pick up the inhibitor. As now Gen.G immediately flip it back into their favor. And there's no objectives right now, but they still are owning the map for this point in time.
Yep, finally ahead in gold. And look, it's so extraordinarily close, regardless of the fact that all of these team fights are still going in favor of Gen.G. And it's a lot to do with that the guy that's currently at the outer top lane.
Yeah.
And that's why, you know, Life and Ruler out of position and were just collapsed on by every member of DRX. They move in, but their health bars are low. You know, like they still
and
sacrificed a lot.
They stick around for so long. You know the combo here. Rascal is unbelievably tanky. I mean, he's also got a stopwatch. Great kick there on top of it. And everybody's getting lower and lower while Rascal is not dying. And then they're like, okay, now we got to run. But you don't run from Zoe. Just watch this. 1 flash, 2 flash, magical journey, bubble over the wall. He's not going to hit that one, but very close. And he just continues. It just never seems to end. And their chase potential is insane because of it.
Owen Wilson, Pioshik here on the volley bear behind enemy lines. Gen.G, no idea where the sneaky bear is. He's still there. He's still there.
And
all right.
Will they notice?
Will the bear flank be successful is the question. Pings towards the bottom side. I believe that's where Chovy is, yes. BDD taking some damage. Pioshik dives in. There's a heroic entrance. This is the wombo combo we've been looking for. Ruler already taken out of the fight. Torrance fighting Clid. Gets himself over the wall. Grabs the kill onto the Leona as Magical Journey gets them in there. Bellow's breath is good, but it ain't good enough as now BDD and Clid versus the world. Rascal, he's taking his time to die, but Deft cleanses the bubble, and BDD looking to try and take a drive-by blue buff, and is, unable to do that as Clid is able to secure it. And Infernal now should go over to DRX. This ain't over just yet, Valdez.
It's so back and forth. You really, we were watching DRX push in after catching Ruler, and we were like, wow, they're going to get so much out of this. They might take the game. Gen.G bring it back, and now immediately DRX are able to do just that once again. As notice how they wait until they see exactly where Ruler is. The second Ruler comes out of the brush, that's when they engage. And even with Leona trying to solar flare down on top, everybody's trying to get on in there and save him. It's not enough. And that also gets Life and Rascal into the mix.
What? Did Chovy just cleanse a Magical Journey? Looked really weird.
It looked weird. I thought he got bubbled like halfway through, and maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know why it would.
What? Can you do that? Is that a thing?
I don't think we've ever seen that before.
The arithmetic's been difficult this game. Being able to say words has been difficult, and understanding exactly what's been going on in these team fights has been tough as well. These two teams still going at it. Double Infernal. As that's basically 2 dragons to 1. The Cloud not necessarily doing that much here for Gen.G. But it's still very, very close. Ornaments actually puts Gen.G in the lead when it comes to gold. 5 have been put together. So those extra stats certainly weighing in here.
I just wish that Clid was good at a champion that was a little bit more useful as the game comes along.
Yeah.
Lee Sin, he got some work done. Earlier on, he's had some decent kicks, but outside of that, he really has been a little bit invisible compared to the Bullabear, who immediately ults straight on top of the flashless Ashe. And it's hard for her to deal with this kind of composition because You got that classic Galio-Camille combo, but on top of that, you have the Volley Bear that's also diving in, and you also have to dodge Tempered Fate. You know, Bard is useful even just for getting Ruler's Flash out of the way, like he did earlier underneath the turret. Even if that's the only thing he's doing all game, that's still really good, especially with the rest of your composition and just taking Ruler's damage out. And even though BDD is doing some insane work on the Zoe, he can't do it alone. He needs Ruler to stay alive, and that should be the main objective, I think, for Gen.G in these coming fights.
And you can see Rascal starting to take a lot of damage here from Doran, who doesn't have, you know, a Last Whisper or anything like that. This is just the true damage from that second activation that makes Camille so strong into tanks in a side lane. And Rascal does, he's gone the route of the LCK Orns as well, with Gargo Stoneplate for the team fights. And LS would be quite disappointed as Life looking for Doran. He's going to hookshot his way out. And there's no way that Leona can actually catch up to him, even with those Moby boots. I do want to talk about Deft and Carrier. Carrier has a QSS and a Mikhail's, so he can QSS himself, so he can cleanse Deft. Deft is probably going to go Mercurial Scimitar as his second item, so...
Deft is cleansed too.
Yeah, it's going to need to be like 3 bubbles have to hit Deft if they want to actually CC him.
Yeah, and solar flares and arrows and all that fun stuff.
Well, that one's going to miss. Deft over the wall here as Life finds the solar flare, but not able to get the stun onto Pioshik, who gets out with the help of the Mikhails from Carrier. And I believe Deft managed to get the red buff, so I guess that that situation went in favor of DRX. But we're not exactly fighting over the big objectives. Baron has now respawned. Infernal Drake will be available for Soul Point for DRX and Soul Point for Gen.G in about a minute's time. This is so close.
Yeah.
We're expecting this to be a close series. But damn, I wasn't expecting Game 1 to be quite like this. It's been an emotional roller coaster between these two teams. It's felt like Gen.G are just never going to lose, and then DRX are like, well, look at what we can do with a Wombo Combo team fight, which is what we identified. They just weren't able to make it work for a lot of the game.
This is what we said at the beginning. They're both very evenly matched, and I think their compositions match up well against each other and make for a really entertaining game. I don't know who's going to end up winning this one. I think the Infernals that keep stacking up for DRX are becoming a real problem for Gen.G. But even that fight around the red buff shows you the potential power. If Ruler is able to just auto-attack the entire fight, Gen.G can just fight front to back, but it's up to DRX to disallow that. Just make it not possible. They need to get backline access, and they need to lock down Ruler, and if they can, they should win the team fights.
Well, 15 seconds now. Doran, he's running. He was pinging the top lane. Thinking about going for a bit of a split here as Deft. Standing forward, but able to avoid all of the CC and skill shots. Because that's a big minion wave that's going to die. Teleport in. In fact, Doran's going for it. They're going to give up this Drake. Or at least try and, you know, poke Gen.G out. And they'll take an inhibitor for it. True Shot Barrage onto 3. It's actually doing a lot of work. We'll see whether they actually go in for the attempted steal, and the answer is no. They're going to trade this Drake for an inhibitor top lane, or maybe even find a fight to win as Life. Down at half health, BDD also able to find
Orn's
one
back.
bubble, but immediately Carrier is going to cleanse it. And yeah, the Orn is going to go back, but now Nexus turrets are under fire. DRX trying to stop Gen.G from getting in, but BDD able to fight this one out. In goes Life. Another solar flare is going to land. Good exhaust onto BDD. No one in this 4 members is going to be taken just yet as Deft gets over the wall. He's fighting straight up with Ruler. Over the wall is the Ezreal, but he's taken down. Tempered Fate unable to help him. As Doran's still fighting, by the way. BDD able to get that double kill. And I think maybe the ruse was a bit too cunning. Oh, Chovy! Chovy gets back in the doubles there. Pioshik gonna bite down the Leona, and it takes another turn in the team fight. Pioshik running after Cleared, but now it's Orn versus Camille. This game is about. Oh my god, you take the play-by-play.
I don't even know what to say after that play. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And DRX might just be able to win the game. They have minions, and it's only Rascal and Clid. That doesn't seem to be enough. We got 2-on-2 on the Nexus.
Yep. Chovy is going to be able to get Clid down very, very low, but the Nexus is going to be taken. These two members should have enough auto attack damage, and It was a crazy roller coaster, but in the end, DRX are going to take it.
I wrote 3 check marks on the mid box there for Toby. I think we should give him 8 MVPs after that game.
That was literally the game. The game was going to be lost at that particular moment, and Toby says, "No, we win."
Yeah, they were about to lose that game, and then
what the hell was that?
One maneuver, just one. I've never even seen anything that game-changing. The 4-man taunt and all the AoE damage.
Whoa. I can feel LS's pride from here, can't you?
That's got to be unanimous. I don't know. I don't even know who, nobody even comes close.
But I have to say,
that
that whole sort of last passage of play was really, really interesting because that commitment to the top side, the giving away of the Drake and then trying to stop all of the backs. Yes, they weren't able to stop the Ornn, but what is Camille really good at? She's good at ignoring Ornn. And so she does that. She tries to take down these Nexus turrets, and DRX just throwing the gambit. They are just not scared of gambling. It's crazy. And they're first in the LCK. Obviously, the gamble's working. So cool. Let's have a look at it again.
Yeah, we got to try to break this down. Look at how safe Ruler is playing. I think this is the first thing. He sees the Justice Punch coming in. He's like, oh, I got to back away from this. There's so many things to zone him out. But then Clid finally makes Lee Sin worth it. And Deft realizes that I can't just run away. I have to go forward. Loses, though. And from here, you're thinking, okay, Gen.G should be able to win this one. They'll be able to stop their base from going down. They should take Baron. And then...
oh, Shovey.
And then this. This is just...
What
See ya.
the hell, man?
Yeah, we might be seeing a little bit more Galio after this game, I think. This is one of those plays that changes the way people think about a champion forever.
Well, when he lost his taunt flash, that was when people thought, well, now it's going to be too obvious. But guys, you can flash taunt and you do the same thing.
He doesn't even react. He's like, oh yeah, just can you help me?
I just won the game casually, by the way, guys. So just go kill the Nexus.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Come in here. I need some support. Yeah. That's it. That's like all he's talking about. He's super calm the entire time as we're losing our minds.
I'm so glad that we're double play-by-play for this series.
That was very useful there at the end of the game. And it was 36.5 minutes, too, and it was a really fun game. This is one I would absolutely recommend. You share with your friends, you get out there, and you recommend this one because this was really back and forth. It really could have been anyone's game, even down to the last moments right before Chovy just put his foot down. He's like, yeah, I've had enough fun.
Yeah, sorry.
The kids are done playing. Now let the grown-ups take over.
Exactly. And then he had another teleport to head towards that Nexus and win out the game. So, man, I mean, this was match of the week for two of the Korean commentators. If you guys had a look on, I think it was advertised on YouTube and, of course, Instagram. And the other one was our match earlier, which was also a 3-game series. So I'm hoping that we get Gen.G to actually take this the distance because, man, I just want to watch more of this because that game was like being won by DRX, then it was being won by Gen.G, then Gen.G were building all of the ornaments. They're theoretically ahead. Gold lead goes over to DRX. Gen.G get a dragon. Gen.G start winning the team fight. Chovy wins the game. Like,
yeah. I felt like that meme where I had all the equations surrounding my head while I was listening to you say that. Oh, man. But that's the way it felt. It was a really fun one. And we need 2 more of those.
Yes, we do.
2 more games of that, please. Can I order it from the store of Gen.G versus DRX?
Yep. I want to not be able to talk tomorrow for the
hopefully
that are happening then. I will be on the broadcast, but I guess I just won't be able to say anything. And that's what I want from DRX versus Gen.G. We'll see whether Gen.G can tie up the series when we come back from a short break, guys. Make sure that you do not go anywhere. Stay glued to your computers. We'll be right back.
볼을 못타 미칼 있고 미칼 썼어 나 천천히 한 빼고 되거든. 나 퀵치 나 까였다 나 죽었다. 애쉬 도플
뒤에 리신이
빠지면서 봐야겠다. 나 죽었고
얘 볼래?
탑일 때려. 잘 싸워야 된다. 알았어 그냥. 네. 오 나이스. 봐줄래? 봐주라. 야 지훈아 나이스.
나 Q 3초거든?
나 조냐 했어. 지훈이 집 갔다 탈자.
내가 이거 집방 끊을게.
나 집 갔다 탈게.
나 조냐 있어. 내가 얘 이겼어. 아 근데 얘 공 돌겠다.
아너 죽어도 돼 집만 죽어도 돼.
죽을게.
일단 몸 한번 대줘라. 가서. 몸만 비비면 될 듯? 가서.
얘 어디 갔어?
몰라 그냥 끝내. 타워만 치면 끝날 것 같아. 타워? 이신 왔다. 갈려. 잡았어. 끝났어. 집으로 까이는 것만 조심해. 아 나이스다.
와
너무
준아.
잘한다. 와 내가 해냈어. 나이스.
찍고 있었다고 정주미.
아 너무 못했다. 미안하다. 다음 판 잘할게 내가.
아
나이스.